So tonight we're going to look quickly at Hardhat configuration, and then we're going to look at Scaffold and get that on. So let's get started. So when we left off, we had gotten Hardhat running, and we had, played with a few commands. And what I want to do now is look at the configuration options. There is a file called hardhatconfig.js, and let me see if I can bring that up. And let's see, I'm going to bring it here. That's in, I must have typed it wrong. Yeah. There we go. Okay, so we have, let me move this out of the way here. So put it over here for now. Well, no, I'm going to kind of need both. So what I'm going to do is move this a little bit so we can see a comparison. And you can see we have the Hardhat config file here, and it is a JavaScript file, and it says it requires the library Nomi Clubs Hardhat Waffle, and it prints the account. It does certain things. It looks at what version of solidity that it needs. But there are other things you can do. For example, as you can see, there are various settings that we have, and let me go back down to it. Looks like it. Configuration. Here we go. So there are a number of things you can configure the network, and if it's empty, it just uses the straight up Hardhat network, which is what we were doing. You can set the chain ID. You can set the default sender. Otherwise, it uses the first account that it generates. If a number is used, it will limit the gas. If auto is used, it will be automatically estimated. The price. So there are a number of things that you can set for your testing, which is kind of nice. You can also, set up the account, and let's see. So we did see that it did create a list of initial accounts. So it kind of takes care of all those things that you need to start your testing, which is kind of nice. And you don't have to fuss and try to make sure that your wallet's hooking up to this and that and all, like we ran into with the actual Ethereum local network. So this is fairly versatile, depending on what you need and want to do. I mean, you may want to make sure that it has a limited amount of gas. You may be concerned of a particular chain ID. You may want to configure particular accounts. So let's see, hard fork. So you may want to mimic a hard fork and see what happens. Logging. So this is, again, quite a versatile tool. Now the next thing I want to do is see if we can install Scaffold, and that is going to be interesting. Let me bring this up here. I'm going to close the config. You can see there's not much of a configuration here, and it just creates its default accounts and uses most of the default, and uses pretty much all the default values. The one thing I might change is there are newer versions of Solidity. But anyway, so I believe, let's look at Scaffold. So you need, so this is for Dapps, which we really haven't looked at yet, but I really would like to look at it. Now, as I said last night, it's kind of the front end to the smart contracts back end. So kind of interesting. So you need Node, Yum, and Git, and I believe we should have all of those. So let's see. Let's see what we got. I am going to go up one level here, and I'm going to do this clone, git clone. Sometimes it doesn't, it likes HTTP, sometimes it will take this, so we'll see what happens. And it looks like it's happy. Oh, it's yarn, I'm saying yarn, yum, it's yarn. CD, scaffold, and yarn install. And then we're going to do yarn. So and it's going. This takes 3 terminal windows. So it looks like this could take a little bit of time. We are going to come back when this is done, and we can set up 2 more terminal windows and get this thing going. So see you in a bit. Okay, so I got it running now. Now I observed something kind of interesting. Let me move this down. What you can do, what you can do here is, it's kind of a neat feature. You can copy the account from up here, and you can go here and stick it in, and let's make it 30,000 and go send, and now you can add balance, so you can do your it'll continue to process. And as you can see, it's processing. Now I did run into a snag where it did give me an error when I did the, if you look at the commands, when I did yarn install, it was complaining about something, but then yarn start worked, yarn chain worked, and yarn deploy worked just fine. Now let's have a look at, let's go back here. I think this is it. So you can see it's running on 3. Now, one thing to be aware of, it is on, was by default runs on the same port as Hardhat. So you want to be aware of that. Here's your contract. And I'm trying to see if there's a way to let you see that. What's a subgraph? I'm honestly not sure what that is. But what we could do is, you'll find the tracking events we use on, okay. So you can also use Docker. I have played with Docker a little bit and did some training on it. That's certainly not my area of expertise, but it has some interesting features. Here's an example UI. Well, let's have a look at, see if I can think what I'm going to need to do is bring Adam in here once I bring up the examples here. So let's see if we can open one of these files. Got to get in here to Home 2, and we're going to go to Project, and we have it under, let's see, Scaffold-Eth. Node modules, Docker, packages. See if we can find the test contracts. Your contract. So it's very so this is a contract. Let me bring it up. And the other one, I see if there's anything else here that scripts. Those are they come with some JavaScripts to do various things. I'm trying to see where the sample UI is, if I can find that. No. Well, I cannot find right now the source code for that sample UI, but here. There's something React app. So let's see if we can find the main source here. So let's look at the setup test, app test. So let's get rid of this before I bring things. Oh, we got a second. So it does come with, let me bring this in here, actually. What I'm going to do is, we've seen the UI, so I'm going to bring this in, well, let me just bring it in separate. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so you can now see it. We've got the contract here, very simple Solidity contract, and there should also be, let me see where Adam is here. There's also this is a Node.js. This would be part of the UI. Actually, it's not a very good example. Let's see if we can open, see what other views. Let's see, because this is a React.js net app. I'm trying to see if there's something something worth looking at. Use components. So yeah, so we got some. This is some JavaScript. Watching themes. So at any rate, you can see this is a pretty substantial environment here that lets you do a bunch of stuff. You can build and compile contracts. I really like the fact that it lets you very easily add money to a, at least, well, this example UI that they provide for you lets you very easily add money to a test wallet. You can also supposedly hook it up to a MetaMask wallet, but that's for another day. Anyway, I hope this has been helpful and useful, and we're going to carry on with this theme. And again, the goal is to be able to understand Solidity, Inc., eventually get into the Dapps. But this is really cool little thing. So, okay. So if you like this, please give it a like, and please subscribe and ring the bell for notifications, and I will speak to you next time.